Oh my gosh, it's so sweet. Oh, I love it. I love that. And again, because Jack just said then in the B-roll. Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. My name is Alexis Blake. I am a trans woman and I share my life, stories and opinions on social media. And today, I think it's a really cool, exciting video. So we're going to dig straight into this topic. We're going to react to some clips and ultimately I'm going to give my opinion on what I think about this topic, let's say. So sit back, relax, grab a cup of tea, coffee, glass of wine, whatever floats your boat, and let's dive straight in. Here in the UK on BBC, there is a series called I Kissed a Boy. I'd never heard of this literally until today. I didn't know it was a thing. I've never seen an episode, but it is a gay dating show. First things first out the gate, I just want to talk about, because we're going to go into like I don't want to say drama, but something about the show that I want to talk about. But what I do want to say is I think it's fabulous to have that representation for gay men. I think it's great. I think they did a lesbian series as well. Love that. I've just double checked. They did a season also called I Kissed a Girl, which is great. It's just fabulous to see that sort of representation. I remember when I was younger, not seeing anyone LGBT sort of represented anywhere. Even just a few years ago, like with Love Island, it was all very straight people. And it's nice to see that mix up. I think that's really cool. So anyway, back to it. I Kissed a Boy is now on series 2. Only a couple of episodes have been aired at the time of me filming this video. I've watched snips and clips from the videos, but not the full thing. So I do think I'm going to sit down and watch it, but what I want to talk about, do you know what? Let me give you some more context, sorry. I Kissed a Boy Series 2. Meet the boys taking part in the UK's dating show for boys who like boys. Get ready for the return of the UK gay dating show where the path to love is never straight. It's loud, it's proud, and it all starts with a kiss. That's the hook of the show. So Dannii Minogue, love Dannii Minogue. She is presenting and playing Cupid, and it's the party you don't want to miss. On this picture here, we have all the singletons that are joining the dating show. It's filmed in Ibiza. I think there's like week by week, there's episodes, people get voted out. I don't know the full structure of the show, but it's the usual sort of reality TV that we're all used to. Like I said, we're on episode 2 of this season so far. There is a trans man in this cast of the show. I had mixed feelings at first, so I'm always going to be transparent, open and honest, and that is the best way to be personally. I think it's great to have representation, but I think there was some things I was dubious about. That's the thing, I wasn't judging, I was dubious about how the producers, not the trans guy, how the producers were gonna put this into the show. I don't know if you know or if you remember, there was a show called There's Something About Miriam that came out over 20 years ago. If you haven't seen it, it was a show where a woman called Miriam, she was a Mexican model, she was 21 years old. She was in a villa in, I think it was somewhere in Spain, with all these different men. She would go on dates with them, talk to them, kiss them, get to know them, and then she would vote them off one by one each week until the final episode where she picked the winner. They would then win a cash prize and go on like a cruise together. However, the whole point of the show is called There's Something About Miriam. On the final episode, there was a reveal. I might do a video on this, so comment below if you want me to talk about it, because it's quite an intense video. I'm just lightly skimming over it now, because this is what's given me doubts on this new show. The producers didn't tell any of the straight men in the villa that this was in fact a trans woman. She revealed it on the last episode, and I remember watching that years and years and years ago, and the men's response was to laugh in her face, which wasn't great. Obviously, she is a trans woman. She knew it was bad. It was in bad taste. It's not aged well. I think like some other stuff has sometimes, and unfortunately, she's no longer with us. I'm not going to go loads into that, but yeah, it was a whole thing. There's a documentary about it, so let me know if you want me to talk about that and react to it. I think it's really important, and I think it's a really heartbreaking story. Anyway, back to this. So the way that was handled, it was very like, oh, it was so uncomfortable to watch. As a trans woman, watching this trans woman getting laughed at for being trans, it was heartbreaking. So I wasn't sure how they're going to do it. And then it's also the ethical question of she wasn't disclosing her full identity to these men that she was starting to get slightly intimate with. She was making out with them. So there was that thing as well. So I was a bit like, I don't fully agree with that personally. I think that we should be open and honest before getting intimate with a partner, obviously. But it's just my opinion. I had my doubts about this because the premise of the show is that two boys, you have an intro from one of them, a little bit about me, you have the intro from the other one about me, and then they walk and they kiss. Let's watch this little clip and then we'll talk about it, okay?
I am your favourite cheeky chappy from Wolverhampton. Dating in the gay scene, being a gay trans man has been quite hard to navigate, but as I've progressed in my transition, I've become a lot more confident.
I'm Jack, I'm from Glasgow in Bonnie, Scotland. Probably used to be a twink, but refer to myself as a twaz now.
You okay?
Yeah, good. How are you?
I'm good, yeah.
What's your name?
I'm Lars.
Baz.
What's your name?
I'm Jack.
Nice to meet you, Jack. Nice
to meet you.
How you doing?
Yeah.
They were so nervous. Oh my god, it's so cute. Sorry. So, first things first, I apologise. I've had to speed that clip up and tweak it around. I've chopped some bits out because of copyright reasons. And also, there's music in the background. That's why it's sped up. So if the cuts are a bit odd, I do apologise. That I've tried my best with it. Oh, and the kiss. It was a lot longer than that. I did cut it down. It was a good chunk of time longer than that. They were making out for a little bit. But sweet. Anyway, I watched that and my initial thought was, he's trans, does the other guy know? To some people it is important and to some people it's not important. And I do genuinely get that. But if you're going to be kissing someone, what if they are one of those people where it is important and it's not something that they find attractive? Because I've said it before and I'll say it now. I don't think it makes people transphobic if they're not attracted to trans people. It's just a preference. It's just a type. We all have a type that we are naturally attracted to. Someone that we find or we're drawn to. Do you know what I mean? We all have that. And if trans does not come under that bucket for someone, that's absolutely fine. So I wondered that about Jack, the guy with the mustache. I wondered if he was attracted to trans men or not, because we don't know at this point. He's not said in his sort of pre-roll. So then I did a tiny bit of digging because I was like, this is where the issue would be for me with this show. If they didn't find this out before. However, let me read this little snip from the show's bio. Overview. Get ready for UK's first gay dating show. Pop star Danny Minogue playing Cupid. Danny has welcomed 10 single gays to Italy. Oh, it's in Italy, sorry, not Spain, if I said Spain earlier. To stay in a beautiful country house called the Masseria. Before the summer of love... This is really crucial, this bit. Before the summer of love starts, the boys are matched up based on what they're looking for in a partner. So... that for me is super crucial. And I don't want anyone to take this out of context or think a certain way. So I'm assuming by that logic that Jack has been asked pre-interviews, because again, they're not just randomly selected and thrown in this villa. It would have been months of interviews, testing, screen tests, like to audition for these sorts of things. And they would have asked him multiple times, I would imagine. I'm only assuming here. They would have asked him, who are you attracted to? Would you mind dating a trans man? Would you mind dating this type of person? Would you mind dating that type of person? And I say this because I remember years ago, pre-Liam, so sorry Liam, cover your ears. Before Liam, I don't know why, I'd had a few glasses of wine. I think we were in COVID. I applied to go on, what's that show called again? It's Channel 4, the dating one. What's it called? First Dates, oh my gosh. I applied to go on First Dates and they weren't doing any face-to-face interviews because of COVID, but I had some like phone call interviews and I remember getting towards the last step. They were looking for a specific type of man, because I was a man back then. They were looking for a specific type of man to go on the show to date a certain type of person, which they didn't tell me exactly who it was on the show. They said, would you date a trans man? I was identifying as gay back then. I said, yes, personally, that's just my preference, I would. Would you date a handicapped person? Yes, personally. And they asked lots and lots of questions about these different types of men. I think they were looking for someone to go on the show and date possibly a trans man. It turns out in the end that I met Liam not long after and I didn't go ahead with that and it just didn't happen. So fate happened and anyway. But my point is, I was asked if I had that preference, yes or no, which I think is super important. The difference being with these two shows, there's something about Miriam's show that wasn't disclosed to any of the men, these straight men, and they didn't know this about her. She was pre-op as well and they'd been making out with her, and I think that's a little bit more, like, they tried to sue the company. It's a whole thing. I think that's very questionable. I don't like how it was done. The producers, I think it was very dark. There was no limits back then. It was the early millennium. TV was just for shock value as much as possible, and I don't like that. Whereas this one, I think it would have been done more tastefully. Let's watch another clip of the couple having their first interaction. I really want to watch this show now. I genuinely think I'm going to start it later on today.
I am your favourite cheeky chappie from Wolverhampton. Dating in the gay scene, being a gay trans man has been quite hard to navigate, but as I've progressed in my transition, I've become a lot more confident.
I'm Jack. I'm from Glasgow and Bonnie.
I can hear it. Sorry, I'm pausing it, Liam. I know it's really annoying to edit, but I can hear in his voice the nerves. Like, so basically, I'm a trans man. I could feel that in him, and I've never had to do that when potentially dating, because I've been with Liam since before transition. That just... my heart was going from, but I would imagine, like I said, this Jack has been, also it's kind of funny, Jack's shirt's kind of blue and pink and it's giving me trans flag vibes. But I'm guessing he would have been pre-screened for this anyway.
I was born female, but then realised when I was about 15, like, something's really not right. I always knew I liked guys,
Yeah.
like, but I didn't feel like a straight girl. I was like,
Okay.
I feel like a gay guy. Like, it just
So did you transition at 15?
I started socially transitioning like I was about 17.
Okay.
Then I started taking hormones just before I was 18. And then ever since then, I found it so much easier to navigate dating and potential romantic partners and stuff. You know, there's no right or wrong way to kind of be trans at all. But for me, physically changing my body was a necessity for me to kind of reflect how I feel internally. You know, starting hormones, having top surgery, all of that has like just allowed me to kind of just live my life as any normal person. That's all I ever wanted, was to just live a normal life.
She's gonna blow!
Bless me. That was so sweet. That interaction, I think, was very sweet. And I have watched some other YouTubers talk about this show and have their opinions on a trans man being in a gay dating show, and try and think of it on the flip side, if it was like a dating show with women in and we had a trans woman. I'm all for that, as long as it's been disclosed and the person who they are matched up with knows about that, about their identity, because they might not be attracted to it, just to save that awkwardness. Because if Jack hadn't said, I would imagine dating a trans guy is fine for me, that interaction there would have been very awkward and uncomfortable, and it wasn't. It was light and it was nice and it was endearing and it was sweet. So I think that was really good. Obviously the season's not gone on yet, we don't know where it goes. From what I've read and what I've seen, I think some gay men are struggling with the idea that a trans man is in the show because it's a gay dating show. I think it's great to have that representation. It's just my opinion, you might disagree with me. Having that bit of trans representation, especially right now in the world where our reputation isn't great, it's nice to have that out there. Not necessarily saying that all those gay men in there would date a trans man, and if they wouldn't, that's absolutely fine, but some of them might, because obviously with trans as well, like men and women, I mean, pre-op and post-op might be a determining factor as well. So again, it's I don't know, but I think Jack handled that really well, so that was a very sweet interaction. Anyway, we've got one more clip where Jack's going to tell us if he's okay with him being trans or not.
Not all gay guys would be into a trans guy, and I understand that, and I'm very respectful of that. Yeah.
Stuff like that doesn't matter.
10 out of 10. 10 out of 10 for Lars right there, because he said immediately, Lars is a trans man. I understand all gay guys wouldn't be attracted to a trans man, and I respect that. I think, oh, yes, I love that. I love that. I love that. I love that. Anyway, let me rewind it. Sorry. Getting ahead of myself.
Not all gay guys would be into a trans guy, and I understand that, and I'm very respectful of that. Yeah.
Stuff like that doesn't matter to me at all.
It doesn't?
No.
Oh, when I first watched this morning, I was skipping through the episodes just like looking for the content that I wanted to talk about. And when I watched that, I was like, oh, I got like a lump in my throat. I was like, oh, that's beautiful. That's very sweet.
You're a man.
Yeah.
I like men.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
When he told me, I was honestly had a bit of a lump in my throat because I was just a bit like honoured that he actually shared this part of his life with me. I've always said that I'd been open to dating a trans man, and it absolutely doesn't change anything at all with Lars.
Thank you so much for sharing that with me.
Give me a hug.
No problem.
Oh my gosh, it's so sweet. Oh, I love it. I love that. And again, because Jack just said then in the B-roll, he said the words, I've always been open to dating a trans man. I've always said I would be open to dating a trans man. So I think that conversation would definitely have happened behind the scenes before the show was put together. I think that's great. I think it's handled very tastefully, in a very modern, interesting way. And not everyone agrees with a trans man being on a gay dating show. And I guess that would be the same if you had a trans woman on a lesbian dating show. I think some people might have issues with that. For me personally, it's their choice. So Jack, he is interested in trans men, and to him that is what he likes, so that's absolutely fine. So I think that's really good. It was a nicer video today. Like, I was fully preparing this morning to make a video just being like, oh, it's another, there's something about Miriam, they're not going to tell them, it's going to be this dramatic reveal, no one's going to be interested, it's going to be awful, we're going to laugh. And I think that being in the back of my mind, I was fully prepared for it to be that kind of sort of thing, but it wasn't, which was a nice surprise. As always, I encourage comments to come in and we can have a little chat about it below. What do you think about it? Do you think they handled it well? Let's have a little conversation, as long as we can keep it as healthy and nice as possible. Thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy this kind of content, please like and subscribe and hit that notification bell if you enjoy this kind of content. I post 1 to 2 videos every week of just me, and then me and my partner Liam have our podcast, The Blake Debate, as well. Also on this same channel. That is it from me. I am genuinely going to go and watch this show now, so we'll see how it progresses. If there's any more spicy stuff, I will share it. I can always do more videos like this. Please let me know if that's what you want to see. If you have anything you want me to talk about in future videos, as always, comment below as well. I do see as many comments as possible. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one. Goodbye. I think we're all right today. Goodbye.